Hi guys, today I'm here to do a review on Armada, this beautiful piece of literature. This was one of the most anticipated books of the year for me. This and Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard. So looking forward to that. I pre-ordered this book on Audible because I knew I wanted it right then and there. And sometimes when you pre-order things with Amazon, it takes a while for it to get to you. So Audible was the way to go for me. And also with Will Wheaton doing the audio, it was a must. So my fiance was a little bit annoyed with me because as soon as I got the email, I downloaded it and started listening to it. He was on his way to work, so he couldn't enjoy the awesomeness that is this book instantaneously like I could. He ended up getting the ebook of this so he could catch up to where I was in the audiobook. And then that night we ordered this off of Amazon and it obviously came the next day. But by then we completely listened to the book on Audible and it was great. But I'm so happy that I have the physical copy of this book because it is so beautiful and so nicely put together. Let me just look at it. It's so pretty. Even the dust jacket for this book is totally beautiful. Inside, hopefully you can see this, is a nice lovely schematic of an ADI-88 interceptor, which is obviously the ship in the book. Well, one of. Even Ernest Clines' author picture. He's sat with his DeLorean, which I think is just so cool. This is the book Naked. Nice little bit of gold. So the inside has world map, terra firma, and planetary system. A lot of thought went into this book and it is beautiful. So the reason why I was so excited about this is because this book is one of my favourite books. I have reread it 8+ times, and even listening to it on audiobook, which Will Wheaton does the audio for both of these, and he is awesome. He's just the perfect person to do the audiobook for these books. Great. The amount of action he manages to fit in 350 pages is just amazing. Also there's this little Raid the Arcade mix which plays a decent role in the book, and I'm not gonna lie, it's a playlist I'm gonna make. I'll read you the blurb. Zach Lightman has spent his life dreaming that the real world could be a little more like the countless science fiction books, movies and video games he spent his life consuming. Dreaming that one day some fantastic world-altering event will shatter the monotony of his humdrum existence and whisk him off to some grand space-faring adventure. But hey, there's nothing wrong with a little escapism, right? After all, Zach tells himself he knows the difference between fantasy and reality. He knows that here in the real world, aimless teenage gamers with anger issues don't get chosen to save the universe. And then he sees a flying saucer. Even stranger, the alien ship he's staring at is straight out of the video game he plays every night. A hugely popular online flight simulator called Armada, in which gamers just happen to be protecting the Earth from alien invaders. No. Zach hasn't lost his mind. As impossible as it seems, what he's seeing is all too real. And his skills, as well as those of millions of gamers across the world, are going to be needed to save the Earth from what is about to befall it. It's Zach's chance, at last, to play the hero. But even through the terror and the exhilaration, he can't help thinking back to all those science fiction stories he grew up with, and wondering, doesn't something about this scenario seem a little familiar? So if me telling you to read the book hasn't made you instantaneously want to go read it, hopefully the synopsis will. Please go read it. So that is all the non-spoilery parts out of the way. If you want to stick around to the spoilery section, please do, but if you want no spoilers, please exit the video now. Bye! When I did first read the synopsis of this on Goodreads, I was a little hesitant because it did remind me a lot of the 80s movie The Last Starfighter, and if you haven't seen that movie, please go watch it. It is totally 80s, totally cheesy, and totally awesome. You will love it. It is kind of like The Last Starfighter, but there is so much more in this, and it is a completely different world and setup. I mean, there's Armada and there's terra firma, and the way that is played. Obviously with The Last Starfighter, it's all 80s and it's not really a multiplayer online game like Armada is. He's kind of brought it forth for the new age. Throughout this book we are following Zach Lightman. He's a good leading character, a little bit lax. For the actual pace of this book, it's completely fine. There's not a lot of character development for any of the characters because it does happen in such a short space of time. It is kind of like a day in the life of, and what a day it is. Zach is a typical average C student going throughout school, just trying to make it the last couple of weeks till graduation. He has some anger issues that we don't really get to see resolve, but like I said, not a lot of character development for any of the characters. The love interest is pretty atypical of what the character's dream girl would be. Even his best friends, although funny at times, quite funny, they're a little bit one-dimensional as well, but it's a quick, fast-paced read that you're gonna love. Ernest Clines is a nerd that writes books for nerds, and stellar job. I am a gamer, but I don't play flight simulators because I get motion sickness and it's just a whole world of bad. But I do appreciate how in-depth that he went into the gaming aspect of this, because obviously I can't play the flight simulators. I think some other people don't particularly like that too much, and they say that it slows down the story for them, but honestly, how fast this goes, sometimes you need a little respite. Some parts of this book were kind of predictable for me. His dad being alive, I don't know if I saw it coming, but I kind of wanted it to happen, so that was kind of nice. And also the bit with his parents when he was trying to call them and he couldn't get through. I kind of knew what they were doing, which also led to the bit at the end of the book where he has a little brother. Kind of knew that was going to happen from the night's escapades as well. I was upset that his dad had to die again. It didn't need to happen, but I understand why it happened. It made me sad. Will Wheaton doing the audio of this book was amazing. He does all the voices, especially the Leroy Jenkins. I enjoyed that probably a little too much. I've never played World of Warcraft, but I have seen the video of Leroy Jenkins and it does amuse me, so that was quite fun. I didn't think it was as good as Ready Player One, but I don't think a lot of things could top that for me. Absolutely love that book. This is also a 5 out of 5 stars for me. If you enjoyed Ready Player One, I think you will enjoy this book as well. Like I said, Ernest Clines, nerd, writing a book for nerds, and he does it so well, and his writing style is just so easy and it flows, and he manages to put so many references and cool little nods to everything. I recommend that you read it, listen to it on Audible. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience to read this book, and I just want everyone to read it and enjoy it as much as I did.